Can you beat Star Wars Battlefront 2 without taking any damage? That is the question here that I have presented to you, that I presented myself with, that I am going to be attempting to answer today. Well, actually, a few days ago when I actually did the challenge. This is just the video. None of that's important. The point is the challenge. We've played this game before on the channel. There's the full playthrough. You can check it out. I'll probably put a title card into the video if I remember. It might not be there. Whatever. You can just look it up. It's whatever. It's got its own. It's in the speedruns because it's a fake speedrun. Anyway, that's tangents are irrelevant. The point is, the challenge. God, man, I'm not good at this. The challenge. Can you take no damage? Interesting. Interesting question, you might ask. Why did you ask that question? I don't know. I kind of thought of it just out of the blue. Well, actually, I think a little inspiration I had, there's a challenge in the arcade where you have 1 health and you can't die. Or, it's whatever. The point is, you don't take damage. Anyway, for this video, there's a few rules I should set up. What is taking damage? Well, that, I believe, consists of, for me, when something, or really anything, comes at you, and you lose health, the number goes down, pretty much. There probably should also be some jelly, but we'll talk about that, like jelly, I mean like when there's red on your screen, but we'll talk about that later, for what I mean by that, because that's kind of a weird part of it. But, the point is, I don't have a point, I just need, moving on. The first mission, it's pretty easy. Now, to explain the first mission, the first mission, well, we begin, we're playing as ID-10, the little droid dude on your back, but you're not on your back, you're actually controlling him for the first part of this mission. You saw a good chunk of it there in the background while I was doing the intro. Yeah, it was really easy. I mean, just if you played it normally the first time, you probably didn't take any damage. Just watch out for the grates. Don't get spotted. It's all pretty hunky-dory. Now, that you return to control, you started off, there's 2 guards here. One of them's completely oblivious, him with a silent takedown, it's all easy, and then there's another one right up ahead here. Boom! Take him down. Stealth is pretty important throughout this run. Yeah. And, well, there's a few important components. You're definitely gonna need your droid shock, your shield, and your scan. The only problem is you can only have one of those at a time, pretty much. So you have to pick and choose. Anyway, we're moving on now. Now, this is pretty much my main tactic throughout the run, in pretty much any scenario. I mean, obviously you're not going to be indoors all the time, or in these specific hallways, but the point is, you just gotta bob and weave, duck and dive, all that sort of stuff. It's pretty important. It's all about safety, and playing it safe. This is the last section I felt like mentioning on the first mission. All you really gotta do here is you click the slice button here, and a lot of people filter in, so all you have to do is just run away and then come back in to claim your victory. And just like that, we're on to Endor. Now, Endor is a pretty basic mission. It's outdoors, it's pretty easy to just dip, dock, and dodge and weave around everyone. So an important thing here is just stealth we're starting off with. We use that when we can. But another thing is just range, which is why I'm going to choose in a second here the A280 CFE, which is it's in the specialist class. It's just a pretty good sniper rifle. I prefer it a lot. And the abilities I also choose, I change this later because I don't really, the thermal detonator is not helpful. Shield, essential. But also, scan is also pretty good. You could probably choose between either of those. They're probably both pretty good. I also use Recharge Vanguard or Killstreak Vanguard. They don't really matter. You don't use it that much just to get around a little bit quicker. And I forget what it's called, but the card that makes your cooldowns go faster, put that together and you're set. Now we're going straight to the end of the ground section in Endor because it was just it was really basic, pretty easy. The only time I had to reset is when I accidentally walked on some fire on the ground, and I lost a little bit of health. So that sucked, but other than that, it was pretty fine. The section at the end with the AT-ASD was a little concerning, but I dealt with it pretty fine. If you just be a little safe, you'll be good. Anyway, we're heading up to space, which is interesting. The space sections for all we got this game, or fighting, whatever you call it, vehicles, I say, my way of thinking it, is damage there doesn't count. Now, I didn't institute this rule at first, and I actually avoided all damage anyway, and it's not too hard in this first section, and there's only one section where it's actually important, as far as I know, or as I remember, but it's not really a problem. You can take damage because you're not getting hit, it's just your spaceship. That was my thought process. I know it's a little cheap, but whatever. No one likes the flying game modes in this game anyway. Who cares? Now we're on the next mission here, Fondor. This is the reason why I changed the rules a little bit, because otherwise we lose the challenge, and I'm not doing that yet. All right, it's whatever. What happens is when you're in this hangar here, you can dodge the turrets outside, but once you get in, it is completely unavoidable. No matter how quickly you go, if you destroy everything, you will take a little bit of damage to your spaceship. So that's why I kind of cheaped out a little bit. It's whatever. This is the only thing there, and whatever else, it's all good. It's what we're sticking with for the rules going on, so it's whatever. Anyway, this whole section here on the whatever you call it, on the Rebel cruiser, it was pretty easy. I mean, the last section, actually that one was very easy. It was just pretty much just hanging out, chilling out. The space section, or like the actual part where you're flying around, it's kind of tricky. I did say it doesn't matter now, but like if you die hard, doing whatever you can, just like stay on the underbelly of the Star Destroyer for most of it. As long as you can, you'll be fine. And anyway, that's pretty much all Fondor has to offer. So moving on. Now, obviously I'm taking damage here, but I just want to show this off because this is just bizarre. I just came across this glitch, which I actually had seen before, like in a post or like a now Pilio is a rough one. It's strange to say the least. This might be where this challenge ended. Might be. I'm not entirely sure. Is the thing. The thing is about this. You're fighting these bugs. I mean, for the most part, it's tricky. Loot kind of sucks, but if you block a lot and you're strategic, it's fine. Except this section, you have to defend Del while he does the things. And for the most part, I just stayed up here and kind of did some abilities and kind of was safe. The only problem is there's a time limit, and I had to reset a bunch because you have to get down there a lot, but also you can't take damage. And the only reason I'm unsure as to whether or not I fail here, the bugs can hit through your block, but the run that I went with, I was pretty sure, and I've looked over the footage, and I mean, I didn't do it with like the closest eye in the world, not frame by frame, because that would take literal hours to click that many times. But the point is, I didn't actually see me not at 250, so it was good enough. Vardos was freaking easy, man. Yeah, so for most of Vardos, it was just kind of walking around and dodging people, and some stealth is pretty normal, just chill. And then AT-AT section, vehicle rules apply there. I mean, if we're not applying them, which we're not doing that, we're keeping vehicle rules in, but if you are, this is another instance where you lose the challenge because there's no way to take no damage in this entire section. But it doesn't matter. Vehicle rules, and then we get to the next section, it's all pretty hunky-dory. You just have to wait here for like a little bit, it's fine. I got that all first try. Pretty grand. This entire section of Naboo, it's its own mission, in where it's just spaceship, so vehicle rules there. Also, going forward, whenever we're in the X-Wing and when we play as Han in the Millennium Falcon, you have a shield on your X-Wing, or for your spaceship, so whenever you get hit, you don't actually lose the number 1275 or whatever, it doesn't go down, so even that doesn't count, so we're double safe here. The new Naboo section on the ground where he plays Leia was pretty easy. I mean, you got the shield, so you can spend most of it doing that. You're just waiting on Dell, and you can put the shield. It goes pretty grand. The only section that was a little tricky was the section at the end here where you're pushing back, you're retreating, because once you get up the steps, you know, they're kind of getting up in your face. You might take a little bit of damage from the walker, but overall pretty chill. Now, Takudana was pretty tricky. I mean, Han, he doesn't really have any defense. It took me definitely a few tries for each section, like a lot of heavies and stuff. But all you had to do was just retreat, be pretty cautious, take your time, wait for them to come to you, and it was okay. I mean, especially at the end, when you're waiting at the Falcon, you can just sit there, and I found a nice box to hang out on, so that was nice. Bespin was pretty gross. I mean, like, wasn't super hard. It was just really annoying. Like, there's a lot of unnecessary resets. For the most part, pretty chill. Except, I mean, the part with the AT-AT, the ATST took like forever, but it was okay. I mean, it could have gone worse. It could have taken me hours. It only took me a few attempts, but overall, definitely one of the worst levels. Sullust was kinda really easy, but it also kinda sucked. For only one reason it kinda sucked. The first two sections are like when you ride it on the ATST, once you're in, the sections of getting to the control panel and getting to the other sections suck. They are really annoying. There's just so many people, and Lando was just not that good, and you'll just take a shot, and you're just like, dang. But it is possible, and then the sections afterwards are honestly pretty easy. I mean, they're in pretty fine strategic positions, and I just kind of rolled them. And then the ATST part. Now, this has vehicle rules, but if we aren't going by vehicle rules, this is like the AT-AT part, no matter how good you are, when you step over the lava, you will take damage. So, vehicle rules. Now, like Jakku was pretty easy. I mean, like, the first part of the Jakku, this is, I forget what it's called, but it's not, I think it's just called Battle of Jakku, not Untalash, is where whatever. For flying in, you take, like, no damage, just in general, like, a single shot, and then in the first hangar, like, in the hangar with the bombers you blow up, it's pretty easy. You might get shot, like, once if you're not careful, but, like, you get a nice spot for when you're coming back out and going in. There's, like, not even that many people in the hangar, so it's just whatever. And then the other section, where there's the other guys or whatever, that one was probably more difficult. I mean, blowing up the AT-ATs was pretty easy, because you could just keep your shield on the whole time. I didn't actually take it off when you used the orbital strike. But it got a little bit scary once you get to the next section, because there's this ATST rain and fire. It didn't get killed by the Corvus landing, but other than that, Jakku, pretty fine. Nothing crazy. No, I'm just gonna skip the Hask fight, or where you're in the Corvus, because vehicle rules, and I didn't even take any damage, because shield was coming in pretty clutch, and I only took a few shots anyway. But, on the actual Star Destroyer, I decided to go for an interesting, decision. I kinda did this in the speedrun, except not really. It was harder. It actually made it more difficult in multiple attempts when it probably didn't need to be. I just ran past everyone with a Vanguard and a shield, and they broke my shield a lot, and I took a few shots, so I had to keep resetting. I could have probably just went through it methodically, but I decided, and it worked eventually, so who cares? Now, here we are on the last section of the game, playing as Kylo Ren. This is definitely an interesting mission. It's kind of similar to Luke. It's maybe a little bit easier in portions. The one in Scarif here is pretty much a cakewalk, honestly. It's pretty basic. Vardos, that's also pretty chill. I mean, it might take a little bit, but it's fine. And Pilio, you can literally just jump over everything. it's pretty much a joke. But Endor. No, I'm not actually sure of this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just like 90% sure this is actually where we lose the challenge, in the last section of the game. Pretty much every single other section, it's a little difficult, but you can get through it with a little bit of persistence. I didn't really have that much to say about any of them, honestly. But at the very end, you lose, because it's frozen in time, and it only starts once you get close, and as far as I can tell, you will get hit by the bullets. I'm not 100% sure, because sometimes I took less damage, and sometimes I took almost no damage. But I did not take any damage. I took some damage every time. And it's so dumb. But it's the way it has to be. And with that, we've done the whole game. So I suppose is the question, can you beat Battlefront 2 without taking any damage? No. Even with some fancy rules, no. Because of that one section. With complete legitimacy, with going complete diehard, you also can't do it, but it doesn't matter. We came so close. So, if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like and subscription button. I would appreciate that greatly. Maybe some more challenge videos if you like this. I don't usually do this much editing, and I've never done any narration before. This took a while to make. I mean, it wasn't the most painful thing. It wasn't as painful as fighting Inquisitor Cal, but it was okay. And then I was really sad because I actually still couldn't do it. I was pretty sure that this would be possible until I got to that point. So, it's rough. Anyway.